So in the brand new book there is a prequel for Midnight. A Burning Legion commander is trying to use Azeroth to launch a new giant campaign of destruction, which strongly indicates that we haven't seen the end of the Burning Legion yet. Even more interestingly, a new cosmology chart recently came out from 11.2 that changed everything, showing us that the Twisting Nether is a high energy plane, meaning they can easily invade everyone. Demons have been invading everyone since the beginning of time. Sargeras organized and channeled them for his own purpose. We got rid of him, but the demons remain. The technology is there, the commanders are still there, the organization, the countless number of demon warriors. We thought we had taken them out of the game, but really we had only sidelined them, and now that everyone is vying for supremacy of the universe and the very fiber of the cosmos is about to break, they will be coming back. The only question is, in what form? So, as the Burning Legion is coming back once again, it is the perfect time to up your World of Warcraft game and prepare, especially if you're like me and you don't have the time to grind and dedicate yourself to PvP and PvE like I used to back in the day. Overgear has an amazing coaching service and I personally found it super useful. You get one-on-one sessions for PvP, PvE, and even arena PvP. You get matched with top players, they analyze your gameplay, they help you set up your UI, add-ons, and help you master your class with super helpful tips and tricks. They're also amazing for PvE as they can help you out with the best stats, consumables, how to really play a role, and most importantly, you get all the raid specifics explained to you. Sure, you can do a lot of this yourself, but if your WoW time is limited, you can save so much guide reading for a super affordable price. So check it over here, use my code DORONS10 to get 10% off right now and start today. So I've actually been talking about this for years at this point because this was such an obvious open-ended plot that Blizzard kind of left there, but now we're getting some actual hints for this happening. It's more than just pure speculation or what could possibly happen in some distant future. So the biggest hint of all that made us think in this direction is about a year back when Blizzard told us that the return of Illidan is a 13 thing, which means that Illidan has been confirmed to return in The Last Titan. By this extent, as he's the jailer, this means that Sargeras is going to be coming back in some way, shape or form. We can of course only speculate whether he's going to get his legion back, whether he's going to rejoin the Titans, or whether he's going to do something entirely different. However, the creator and the leader of the region is still around and will return. This, however, is not why I think the Legion may be coming back. The new evidence is from the upcoming book talking about a new Burning Legion leader intending to use Azeroth, as well as the Demon Hunters using the Void and some magic stuff happening. Even more interesting, the new cosmology chart from 11.2 that was revealed from the ethereal perspective could be a huge game changer in this giant cosmological battle. So I actually got a full video on this that you can check out. We've datamined a new in-game book giving us some crazy reveals of how the Warcraft universe really works, and so far this one is the most up-to-date and most importantly it lines up perfectly with everything that happened thus far. Long story short, the universe is like one giant cosmological totem pole with all the realms being on it based on their energy levels. We have the high energy realms and the low energy realms. These are the ends of the spectrum. High energy, for example, is the Twisting Nether and the Light, while the low energy is the Shadowlands and the Void, or as they recently call them, the Voidlands. Now check this out, there seems to be an inherently built-in mechanism, probably based around Azeroth, where it is completely natural to travel from the high energy to the low, but going the other way around is a problem and it takes a lot of new energy. This so far explains most things that happen. For example, going from high energy, which is life, to low energy, which is death, is kinda natural. Going from death back to life can theoretically happen, as we had seen with resurrections in the actual lore, but this requires a lot of new energy for it to materialize. So it's possible, but it is also really difficult. Now, I'm not here to preach about the cosmology in this video, as I said I have a full video on this, but how does this really tie in with the Burning Legion and the fact that the demons are native to the Twisting Nether? Inherently, demons are high energy beings and they really naturally have no problem going wherever they please. A lot of people know about the Burning Legion as Sargeras' personal army, but what isn't widely known is that Sargeras really just standardized this demonic army and channeled them for his own goals. Demons can actually actually been invading other realms pretty much since the beginning of time, or at least since the creation of this mechanism. Sargeras was actually sent by the Titans back when he was their champion to combat them because demons started creating serious problems for the world the Titans had ordered. Based on the sources we have though, they were a significant problem, but this was mainly just like a realm of like bandits or like raiders. Think of it something like warlords vying for power, but it was never organized or as dangerous as what Sargeras ultimately made it out to be. In fact, Sargeras had a really easy time dealing with these guys because they were really no match for a being such as himself, but for regular denizens of the universe, they were a significant problem. Now, with this new cosmology, all of this actually makes complete sense. The Twisting Nether being a high energy realm means that these guys can very easily just attack anyone and go back. Sargeras, when he took over, even further empowered them by creating the Argus Soul Engine, but even without the engine, the demons always had this superpower. Now, a lot of people think we defeated the Burning Legion, but all we really did was imprison Sargeras, broke the engine, but literally the main bulk of the army is still around. It still exists in the Twisting Nether. Even more importantly, and I think this is the most important point, when Sargeras was imprisoned, these guys didn't revert back to their old raiding ways with no rhyme or reason. Keep in mind, they had at least 25,000 years of experience being a significant organized army. I'm talking invading countless planets, bases, technology, organizations, wielding various magics. The demons, despite now being left to their old devices, are still ways ahead to where they were back in the day. Now, some hints we could gotten over the years is that local warlords are vying for power, but keep in mind, we only really defeated the brains like the main chain of command, so Sargeras, Archimond, killed Jaden, a few other commanders, but they still have countless other generals across various bases still existing across the universe. These guys didn't just magically disappear into thin air when Sargeras was put into prison back at the end of Legion. Personally, I think this makes them even more dangerous for everyone around them. I mean, sure, Sargeras had his crazy goal, and who knows how crazy it even was with all the new things we're learning right now, but he kinda had them under control. He had them laser focused, and he had the Void super busy fighting his Legion. Now, these guys are back to their own selfish ways, back to their high energy realm of the Twisting Nether, but now with new weapons, new gadgets, organizational structures, and if they start raiding again, there is going to be a problem. However, that now leads us into 11.2, which makes this super interesting. So, recently, something I've talked about in the past started happening, and that is that the demon hunter wielding the Fel seems to be looking into the Void, a guy called Azeroth. He ultimately becomes a villain, although this doesn't really have much to do with Legion. We're seeing some Fel involvement kind of combined with the Void back again. Keep in mind though, the Legion was actually built pretty much in total to counter and combat the Void. We had also seen them wield Void magics, so they definitely have the technology and the intelligence for it. The main hint though is actually from the new book that was announced about a month and a half ago, coming around midnight, called World of Warcraft Blood Ties, and this is actually an official prequel to Midnight, which coincides with the obvious release date. It's coming out in November. Obviously, the focus will be on Arator, the son of Terrellian, and Illyria, who is half Void, half Light, so he's kind of like a mix of his parents, but super interesting. But the entire premise of the book is that he is investigating what is thought to be a seemingly long-abandoned Burning Legion base on Azeroth. Here, he discovered a former commander of the Burning Legion, and he realizes that this isn't as abandoned as he had previously thought, and this new Burning Legion commander is actually intent on using Azeroth to launch a new campaign of destruction. Keep in mind, this coincides with the entire use of Azeroth that will soon be happening at midnight for the possible Void Awakening and the upcoming Void Invasion. This means that the demons and their lords have been slowly monitoring the situations. They weren't really out of the game, they had been temporarily sidelined. Based on this new cosmology chart, the demons are kinda top of the food chain in terms of real energy. Even more interestingly, this new book hinted that a huge migration will be happening soon from the low energy planes, which might just break the entire mechanism. Almost certainly this is talking about the upcoming Void Invasion, as the Void is one of the lowest energy planes, and if they come to Azeroth in huge numbers, the whole balance of the cosmos is going to break apart. Do you really think, the demons are just going to chill out in their little bubble and sulk at their defeat that happened like 10 years ago? We're talking about the cosmos fundamentally changing game-changing, a universe-destroying event. I'm almost 100% certain that they're going to come to vie for supremacy as well. One of the possible scenarios is that the Denatrius could come in and sort of use them or tie in the Shadowlands together with the demons, as keep in mind, he created the Dreadlords, which are in a way the leaders of the Burning Legion. However, I do think the demons may come to the realization that they had been the pawns for far too long, first to the Titans, then to the Shadowlands, manipulating them from within. This may have worked 25,000 years ago when they were just these wild raiders, but since then they had acquired significant knowledge, intelligent demonic leaders such as the Manari. I think they may finally be ruled by one of their own. This isn't going to be a Burning Legion fighting for a crazy titan. This is going to be a demonic legion fighting for the Twisting Nether, their own realm, trying to take everything for themselves. We still don't know how Sargeras will play into this once he comes back in the last titan, but it is 100% going to be absolutely crazy. It has been hinted that the Void Migration is going to trigger the entire system to break, and now everyone from the Titans to the demons to the light is going to want to either maintain it or get everything for themselves. So I don't see any scenario where demons are not going to get involved. Thanks for watching. Check out my video on Zelda's original homeworld and her tragic backstory by clicking on the screen, and check out my video on the Roman history that I've actually recorded live on site in Malta by clicking on the screen as well. See you next time!